Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. This one's going to be a little bit different. And I also realized that I'm a couple days late to this party. The conversation surrounding how Twitter could change in two major ways. Number one, the ability to pay and get paid for certain tweets, but also this social media platform, which is all about individuals sharing small messages, now getting into a group format, similar to how Facebook is, maybe even almost how Reddit is. So I'll talk about these things individually in just a second. I've been on Twitter since 2009. It's really the first social platform that I ever put a work emphasis into, or that I really did put an emphasis into in terms of realizing that it was a product and it could help you build your work portfolio, kind of a branding thing, good for information, but also there were times where you wondered, how much do I want to put out there versus how much do I want to save for, in my case, putting on a television show? You don't get paid for your tweets as of right now. The reason you do it is to document maybe you're first on something, or to be the person to break the news, or in recent years, you put a tweet out there to get somebody to click on something. You're putting something out on their timeline, on their plate. And there is a balance of that. Nobody wants you to always be, trying to promote your YouTube channel or the article you just wrote. I mean, there is a certain extent of that. You do want to share your work, but there has to be more value than just, hey, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I want to be clear about the pay for Twitter commentary here. You're not paying to be on Twitter. Nobody's going to have a subscription fee to be able to read other tweets. There is going to be that interesting dynamic of pay Twitter versus what's already free, and who continues to operate in free mode versus putting some of their tweets essentially behind a paywall. But I actually think in all of this, everybody's going to focus, like I am, on the paying for tweets part. The bigger impact, and maybe even the more negative impact, is Twitter sliding into a groups format, which I'll discuss a little bit later on. This is not going to be a tremendously long video, but I did want to share these thoughts. So charging for tweets and the whole super followers idea. I made a good and a bad list here. I literally wrote it down. And I feel like there is more good than bad when it comes to the idea of super followers. So let's talk about the good. You may have people producing better content, more noteworthy material that they either weren't doing before or they were saving for some other platform. They might now bring that to Twitter because they understand that if it's good and it takes off, they could get paid more handsomely for it. I also think you're creating a culture by offering compensation. And really, how much is anybody going to make a career here on Twitter? Maybe a small percentage of people with huge followings might. I think most people are just going to get supplementary income from this. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but let's be realistic here. This is a side hustle. This would be a side hustle for a lot of different people here. But you might have more motivated creators. Look at YouTube, for example. There are so many people right here on YouTube that are putting forth a tremendous effort, tremendous production value to grow and build their channels, because it's an opportunity to build a platform of subscribers and viewership, but also it creates revenue. Right now, Twitter doesn't. Facebook does, but that's a whole separate conversation. Twitter is one of the last remaining platforms to offer any type of monetization to creating content, and that would probably motivate more creators. Now, Twitter's different though. It's not the video-based platform, so when I talk about creators, is creation sending a better tweet? Sending a better, essentially, text message to Twitter, attaching a better image, breaking more news? Is it, I don't know, is it uncensored behind this paywall of super followers? I don't know, but it might motivate more people. And like I said, inspiration, I think you're going to get a better content because of it. And if you're not, I mean, if people are paying for your tweets and they're not that good, they're not going to pay. So it kind of takes care of itself in that sense. And I really wonder too, how many people are going to pony up 99 cents, $1.99 a month, $4.99 a month. There are so many subscriptions out there that we all have currently. Are you going to add to this? Is anybody going to pay for tweets? Let me know if you would consider that from some people, for no people. Now, I'm going to bring it to the bad side here. There's a lot less negatives on paying for tweets. Would it make free Twitter less valuable? This is a bad side for the whole social platform. Are you making it so that everybody's going to put their best stuff behind a paywall, and who cares if it gets looked at or retweeted or clicked on anymore? If you put it behind this wall that nobody else can see, is it going to make free Twitter, like, why would anybody want to be on there? Are they going to essentially force people into paying if they want the good stuff? I don't know. And it also depends on who Twitter allows to monetize their tweets. If they roll this out quickly, if they roll this out to only a select few, and see how it goes. On the other negative note here, I think you're going to see a lot of people now promoting and teasing the stuff that they have for you behind their paywall for super followers. When I say paywall, what I'm essentially referencing here is the fact that I'm going to put all my good stuff behind this wall. My super followers can get behind this wall, but you can't if you don't subscribe. So is there going to be a ton of teasing and promoting material? You know, like, hey, reminder, follow me, or not follow me, but super follow me, pay me. Is there going to be that as opposed to what it is right now? People not caring about that and just pumping out material. Is the super follower aspect going to be a distraction? I don't know. It's possible. And I think the other part about it too is then you're almost going to create a bit of a rift, right? Because if there's news out there, let's say that I'm at a news conference, or I know something that 3 other people know. 4 of us in total know. And 2 of us are behind the Twitter paywall, and we're saying, yep, we know about this. Here's how we're going to share it. We're going to share it to our paid subscribers first. Well, what about the other 2 people who also know, who don't put it behind a paywall, who just give it to you for free? Is that going to create like a creator rift of, why are you not charging for this? Why are you charging for it? You see what I'm saying? So it gets into a lot of potentially messy, grayer areas the longer you think about this. But again, I have to say, and it's not because, of course, I would be interested in being rewarded for Twitter. I mean, let's be honest. I've spent hours and hours of my life over the past decade plus. What did I say? I joined it 2009. I think I'm coming up on an anniversary here of 12 years. And so to never get anything back from it, what do you get? 80,000 followers or whatever, and a check mark. I don't even know how many I have. Do I have 80, 70, 60? Somewhere up there. But to never get anything back for it, I think this is the start. I think this would, again, I think it would motivate a lot of people to make it a better platform, so long as this is not just a one and done, hey, try this, we're not going to change it. I think this process could be valuable, literally and figuratively, but it has to be maintained. It has to be altered and kind of worked on as it gets launched and as it goes. Now, because I do see some downsides and some potential downfalls, but I think overall, I think it would be a good thing. I think there would be a lot to gain. All right, but paying for Twitter is the headline for everybody. I think the creation of Twitter groups is actually what needs to be paid attention to more. I feel like this could take the entire service and the platform down an entire level or 2. Now, I made a similar good and bad list here. I don't know what's on the good list. Are you helping people who aren't, like real good Twitter users? Are you helping people find stuff that they were looking for but weren't finding before? Because I think everybody can find what they need on there right now. I really don't feel like there's a need for the discovery aspect. But by putting people in groups, look where Facebook went wrong in so many ways. Politically, that's the main one. But you put people in this echo chamber, and all of a sudden they're only paying attention to and hearing people with identical viewpoints, and their perspective is lost. on what's everybody saying. Well, and why do some people even care what everybody else is saying? I'd rather only hear what I want to hear. So I'm going to go into this echo chamber. I'm going to go into this group, and this is the only thing I'm going to pay attention to. To me, that's why so many people reject Facebook at this point. Facebook took an unfortunate turn when they went group heavy. Now, I'm all for the idea of groups, like people that are into sports or media production like I am, or aviation like I am. And that's great. You can find information faster. You're with people that have the same mentality. They're asking the same questions. You could learn a lot in these groups. But I just feel like, why would you be motivated to go that direction? You see what it has done to Facebook. Now, I would also say Reddit is a group-based platform, but it's also moderated. It just plays out differently. And if you're going towards more of that, what are the differences? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and explain them to you, but I do feel like, for whatever reason, and Reddit is not perfect either, in a sense of commentary and cruelness of users, but at least, it's kind of crazy too, because I've always said that Twitter would be better in a lot of ways if there were less anonymity. But Facebook, people are using their real name and image and, face for the most part, and they can still be terrible on that platform in these groups. So I don't know what it is about Reddit that I feel differently than Facebook. If it's just the layout of it, if it's the moderation of it, if it's whatever it is, if it's who runs it, I don't know. I don't feel as bad about Reddit as a group-ish platform or a subject-based platform. Maybe that's what it is. It's based on subjects, and it's not necessarily based on groups, even though, the subreddits are all different groups. But again, I just feel like right now, Twitter going the way of groups has a lot more potential pitfalls and negative outcomes than good. I like the fact that I don't want to say everybody for themselves on Twitter, but it's a bunch of individuals, and you can choose to add them or not to your timeline. That in itself is enough filtering from a Twitter user perspective. So why do you need to add on groups on top of that? I guess you could make hashtags more of a group, but if you go, again, full group and blocking people from getting in or kicking them out or whatever, I think what you're going to create is a lot more animosity. I think you're going to take if I had to say what's the tension on social platforms, like YouTube, relatively low. Instagram, maybe even lower, right? Maybe Instagram might be the lowest tension and temperature platform in terms of the conversation and how much heat is on there. But Twitter is as hot as it gets. Twitter is close. Facebook's even hotter, I think. Those two are right up there. Why do you want to copy what Facebook has done and kind of gone wrong with? So, look, those are my thoughts. I would love to know what you all are thinking. And I know this is a live video. I know the live chat has probably been going on. I've tried not to even look at it. No offense. It's just that I'll get distracted with comments here, and that won't make for a good video. I wanted to keep this concise. So if you're watching this after the fact, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Would you be a person who wants to utilize super followers? Would you be a person to pay as a super follower? And what do you think about the whole group aspects of where Twitter might be going? Yeah, let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.